Good evening. Let's try that again. Good evening. There you go. All right, let's start off this evening by singing page 484. Let's sing Higher Ground. I'm pressing on the upward way, new heights I'm gaining every day, still praying as I overbound. Lord, plant my feet on higher ground. Lord, lift me up and let me stand by faith on heaven's tableland, a higher plane than I have found. Lord, plant my feet on higher ground. My heart and no desire to stay where doubts arise and fears display, but some may dwell where these abound. My prayer, my aim is higher ground. Lord, lift me up and let me stand by faith on heaven's tableland, a higher plane than I have found. Lord, plant my feet on higher ground. I want to live above the world, though Satan's darts at me are hurled. For faith is called the joyful sound, will flow with saints on higher ground. Lord, lift me up and let me stand by faith on heaven's tableland, a higher plane than I have found. Lord, plant my feet on higher ground. I want to scale the utmost height and catch a gleam of glory bright, but still I pray to heaven I found. Lord, lead me on to higher ground. Lord, lift me up and let me stand by faith on heaven's tableland, a higher plane than I have found. Lord, plant my feet on higher ground.
Good to be back in the Lord's house. Amen. Good to see all of you here looking forward to the service tonight. When you tell them that you're not preaching, you'd be surprised how many folks show up. Good to see all of you here tonight. Excited about the mission service. Looking forward to that. Well, who's going first? Did we talk about that? You don't know? The Kennedys? All right, good deal. They're going to come after Ross gets through his Kathy, and I think Carson's going to sing a special and do a little, no? Did I misunderstand? We'll be sharing some things about their trip to the Dominican Republic. Boy, the Lord really blessed there, and so we're thankful for that. And they're going to come and speak and share about what the Lord did with them. And then Brother Nick and them and the group that went to Kansas, several of them are going to share tonight. Got some pictures to show us about how the Lord blessed there. So we're so thankful for that. So anyway, remember the announcements that we made this morning. Miss Rita and them's class moved back to the 10th because the 11th is going to cost us too much money. We want more fish than we can expend. So they're going to go to the 10th instead of the 11th. And also remember the ones going to Hibachi Grill. What day is that?
Saturday night, August 5th.
August 5th, Saturday night. We'll leave here at
5:45 and you can meet down there at 6:30.
There you go. That's the Young at Heart class. So be sure to remember those two. Is there any other announcement we need to make tonight before we pray?
We're having the women's event. We're going to have a guest speaker from Mercy Multiplied here, August 1st, 6:30. It's for all ages, 12 years old and older, for women or girls, and child care is provided.
Yes, it is. Pray for me. Brother David?
Wednesday night, we used to have a movie night after our Bible study, so we'll stay a little late Wednesday night.
Okay. You usually have movie night after the service Wednesday night. Any other announcement? Also, I want to remind you we'll be baptizing after the service tonight. So thankful for that. And any that's here tonight that's going to be baptized that were saved or during Bible school, if we can get you during the invitation to come, let us get our stuff filled out on you, that'd be great. And then we'll head to the back and get ready to go. I'll be in a brand new pair of waders tonight. I'm glad to say that I smoothed out a pair of baptizing waders and a couple of duck hunts, but most of the baptism. And they're like Kevin called me one day. Said, you might be a redneck preacher. You ever had somebody from your church call you and say, please wash your waders after you go duck hunting next time before you baptize? There's feathers and mud in the Baptist preacher. Well, that was a slip up, but we got it sorted out anyway. All right, there's no other announcement. Let's go to the Lord in prayer, ask His blessing on this service tonight. Brother Ross is going to come and lead a couple more songs when he gets done. Miss Kathy, y'all come ahead and just share with us how the Lord used you there. Amen. Father, we love you. Thank you so much for all that you do for us. And what a privilege it is tonight to be able to gather in your house. Thank you for each one that's here, Lord, especially those who may be visiting with us tonight. We thank you for the privilege tonight that we have to be able to share and rejoice over how you've used these two groups of people. Lord, I'm so thankful for our church. I'm thankful for the privilege that we have to do your work, whether it be here in our community or anywhere you see fit to allow us to go. I pray that we'll always be a going church. And I pray, Lord, that you'd help us from the youngest to the oldest to understand our responsibility in the gospel. May it be our neighbor or the one that lives furthest from us, Lord, that we have a responsibility to do all we can that everybody in this world might hear about Jesus. So I pray tonight that you bless these two groups. We're so thankful for them, thankful for their safe trips, thankful for the fruitfulness of their endeavors. And I pray tonight as they come to speak that they'll be a blessing to us, but as much as that, I pray that they'll challenge us, Lord, to be even more drawn to the word of the Lord. Thank you for these. Bless them tonight as they speak. I pray, Lord, that you would use that to encourage and challenge your people. And we'll thank you and praise you for everything that's done. And it is in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, page 572. I love to tell the story. Tell the story of unseen things above, of Jesus and his glory, of Jesus and his love. I love to tell the story because I know 'tis true. It satisfies my longings as nothing else can do. I love to tell the story. 'Twill be my theme in glory to tell the old story of Jesus and his love. I love to tell the story, just pleasant to repeat. What seems each time I tell it more wonderfully sweet. I love to tell the story for some have never heard the message of salvation from God's own holy word. I love to tell the story, till be my theme and glory to tell the old story of Jesus and his love. I love to tell the story for those who know it best. Seem hungering and thirsting to hear it like the rest. And when it sees the glory, I sing the new song. 'Twill be the old story that I have loved so long. I love to tell the story. 'Twill be my theme in glory to tell the old story of Jesus and his love. Let's sing page 595. Send the light. There's a call comes ringing over restless waves. Send the light, send the light. There are souls to rescue, there are souls to save. Send the light, send the light, send the light. The blessed gospel light, let it shine from shore to shore. Send the light, the blessed gospel light, let it shine lost we learn. Send the light, send the light, send the light. The blessed gospel light, let it shine from shore to shore. Send the light, the blessed gospel light, let it shine forevermore. Let us pray that grace may everywhere abound. Send the light, send the light, and the Christ-like spirit everywhere be found. Send the light, send the light, send the light, the blessed gospel light, let it shine from shore to shore. Send the light, the blessed gospel light, let it shine forevermore. Let us not go weary in the work of love. Send the light, send the light. Let us gather jewels for a crown above. Send the light, send the light, send the light. The blessed gospel light, let it shine from shore to shore. Send the light, the blessed gospel light, let it shine forevermore.
Let me check out the sound because I haven't been up here in a long time. Good? First of all, I want to say thank you for our church family. I'm trying not to tear up, but this trip is so fulfilling and so emotional. I probably will at some point. But I want to begin by saying that when I was a child, I went down front just like most of the kids do during Bible study. Bible school saves a lot of people. But I was baptized, but I wasn't truly saved until I was 35. After I had all 5 of my kids married for a long time, I realized all the things in my life I hadn't really been doing right. So I nailed it down at 35 years old. Now here at 45 years old, I have found my calling. If y'all want to send me again, send me. Every year, I want to do this. If I didn't have kids at home, I would have not come on. This trip just let me know, out of all the talents I have, this is the talent I want to use forever. So we went with the group. The slide's just going to run behind me, and it kind of is chronologically so you can follow along. But we took a group of 34 people. It was sponsored by the ULM School of Nursing. We had 2 other nurse practitioners besides me, a couple of people who were volunteers like Carson and a couple of moms that went, some friends that had already graduated, and then a lot of nursing students. This was our first mission trip. We didn't know what we were getting into, so we just kind of rode the wave. And we were led everywhere we went. There was no snafus. Customs took a little time when we got there. They went through our stuff, and we had taken down 13 bags of medical supplies and food that we were going to use. And the customs officers were really fascinated by our toothbrushes for some reason, so we saw them pocketing a lot of those. And they kept all of our Claritin. We really needed Claritin when we got down there, but that was the first thing. After we got through customs, we only lost 1 bag of clothes and our supplies. Everything else went through really well. We got to the mission house. You can see pictures of the mission house behind us. Moises was our contact person. We worked with Good Samaritan Hospital. They were our contact people down there. And then the place that we stayed was the Casa Pastoral in La Romana. So we stayed in a mission house. We were secure the whole time. You see on all these pictures that there's iron gates. Kidnapping and sex trafficking is extremely real down there, so we were very well secured everywhere we went. There was not a time that I really did not feel secure, even having Carson, my 14-year-old there, because I knew we were supposed to be. So we got there the first day, and we got everything organized. We had planned to go to a different place every day, and we had enough people that were in our group that we went to 2 places every day. So instead of seeing places at 4 villages, we actually wound up seeing 8 villages. The way it was set up, in the Dominican Republic, Haiti is on one side and the Dominican Republic is on the other. The Dominican Republic people are the wealthy people. And you see these pictures, they're not really that much of it in terms of wealth, that's what they are. The Haitian people are their indentured servants. They are brought across the border, they work the cane fields. The average salary is $2 a day for a man working. He has to cut 1 ton of cane to get $5. And everything's done by hand. The workers are out there with their hoes and their sickles. You'll see in the slideshow different stages of harvest of the cane, but that was the major crop that was down there. So when we went down there, we were supplying care for the Haitian workers who were outcast from the government, had no government support, no government health care whatsoever. Mission groups go down there about every 3 months and give them supplies that they need for the next 3 months. If there's any major injuries or anything in the interim, then they have to tough it out. Medicines are outlawed unless you get them from a physician. So if you've got a headache, you just can't run down to the Walmart or Family Dollar and get you some Tylenol or Motrin or anything like that. So we were giving out prescriptions for pain medicine while we were there too. These people live very hard lives. The first Sunday we went to church. We didn't see patients at all that day. The people down there are very strong in their religion. You can see it's evidence in the way they act, the way they pray. Even in our medical clinics, one of our doctors, Dr. Angela, would just stop clinic and stand up and start praying, and everybody would just start praying. We prayed constantly through the day, but it was good because we were guided and we knew while we were there. We went to a small village that very first day. We went to church. Pastor Martin was our pastor. He got up and danced for us. Ready? Church service lasted 2 hours, and that's after Sunday school, and we weren't really bored. We sang a lot. If you're Facebook friends with me, I posted that at one point we were singing Amazing Grace in English, and they were singing it in Creole French, is what they speak in the Haitian bouteilles. But the pastor, when we finished, made the point of saying, we are two people, two countries, singing in two different languages to the same God. So he brought it all in very well for us. The service that he provided that day, he talked about us having passports. We had to have passports to come into his country, and he likened that to Jesus as our passport. You cannot get into heaven without having that. So he said, don't get stopped at customs, don't get stopped at the gates without having your passport in front of you. And then he prayed Psalm 91, the prayer of protection. So he prayed for us for the need. The overwhelming attitude of everybody that we met was gratitude. So they were very grateful that we were there. On Monday, we started going to the bouteilles. It was set up, the country itself has the tourist area, which is like the New Orleans French Quarter, and it's on the coast. No one ever sees that 30 miles away there are people who live in absolute sheer poverty. Then you have the city, the barrios, and the bouteilles. And the bouteilles is where we went. We would send out 2 clinics. You see in this slide, that woman is holding a blue card. The people who have no health care down there, if they want to go to a doctor, have to pay $30. Now remember, I told you they make $2 a day. So if they want to go to a physician or send a family member to a physician, they have to work for weeks and then not have anything left over to provide food and supplies for their family. They only pay 2 pesos for a blue card, but even then the families could not all afford blue cards. And we were told by the doctors that we were partnered with not to treat anybody with a blue card. Do you think God sent me to a foreign country, supported by all these people, to not treat everybody I saw? So our unofficial count was around 900. I know we treated a lot more than that, because if a family of 5 came and sat in front of me, I said, what do you need, what do you need, what do you need? So I saw everybody. So did the other practitioners that were there, so I'm not the only one breaking the law. That's okay. So in the course of that, we probably saw a little more than 1,000 people. The youngest patient I treated was 3 months old. The oldest one I treated was 94, but one of my partners saw somebody that was 115. That's a long, hard life, living with no air conditioning, no running water. You see in some of these pictures, there's the 5-gallon white buckets. They would go to the well and get buckets of water and come back and wash their clothes. There was actually a group there from Michigan that was installing a water filtration system. That's a great mission. I know not everybody in the church is medical, but there's more that you can do besides just medical. There was a group there from Connecticut that was building houses. There was the group from St. Francisville that was doing Bible study. So there were multiple people. And we kind of intermingled too. So a lot of these pictures have some of the people from the other groups who wanted to go and see what we were doing. So every day we would go and treat. We would start at 8 in the morning and we would finish when we saw the last patient. So there was no close. We averaged about 120 people a day at each of our clinics when we went. On the Thursday, you see the pictures of the orphanage we went to. There was a girls' orphanage where there was 55 girls that were housed, and we took clothes and flip-flops to them and toys. And we met someone there from Operation Underground Railroad, which is very similar. It's an international group, kind of like Project 41. The ambassadors that were there have been there for a year, and they have rescued 6 girls while they were there. Some of them had come to the orphanage and gone out. This picture of a man who was injured in the field, and you can't really see it, but his foot has gangrene in it because he could not afford medical care. So these are the people that we were there treating, and it was a very humbling experience. We saw kids who were just fascinated by us, the young, the old, everybody. We had warming stations. Everybody is malnourished. The food, beans and rice and chicken every day. If you can get chicken, that's good. Mostly they lived on beans and rice, and we did take lots of food supplies to them also. So malnourishment was really strong. We found everybody, man, young child, everybody that came through got a dose of that. Carson made me promise not to call her out, but what am I forgetting? On one of the pictures that you see, it's Carson standing beside a boy. Even though we had translators, and that was funny. There's a picture of me and my translator here, who was a 25-year-old young man. He had 5 brothers and sisters, and that's the young man right there that I'm about to tell a story about. But his parents had sent him to the mission house because they wanted a better life for him. So he was there and he interpreted for me. I did a lot of family planning also in this, and so it was kind of fun interpreting through my 25-year-old young friend as I was there. The average size of the families were not as large as I thought. Most people only had 3 kids. They thought it was really funny that I had 5 kids. So it was small families, but they lived with what they could. But that young man, Carson, was outside taking temperatures and helping with the triage, because you see the waiting outside was just hundreds of people. And he wanted to talk to her, but she didn't have an interpreter that was with her. So they started drawing, and they drew in the dirt. And she had a very long conversation with him, and she made him laugh. So even though we were there providing medical missions, the people that were not the medical people were still there doing the work of God and making people happy and making people laugh. We took toys. The kids had long sticks with plastic bottles on the end of it, and they would just run around making noise, kind of like what my son does a lot of times, just making noise for the sake of making noise. So we took balls and frisbees, and they just played for hours and hours. It was overwhelmingly humbling. If I didn't have kids at home, I would not have come back. I want to do this forever and ever. And my kids all want to go. It's almost going to be our family vacation next year. And next year we're going to Nicaragua. So if anybody is interested in going, come see me and we'll make a plan. Any questions at all? I know this is not a classroom, even though I'm a teacher, and I can step down and come up and preach. The very last quote up there, it's not a Bible quote, but it's the Irma Bombay quote, and it's my favorite quote of all time. When I stand before God, I'm not going to have anything left, but just I'm going to do everything I can while I'm here. And that's what everybody should strive to do. So, thank you.
I appreciate that very much, Ms. Kathy, and I understand your heart. It does something for you when you go to try to minister to someone and then ministering to you. I can't say enough about the group that went with us to Kansas. Thank you, church, for allowing us to go. Before Ms. Ann and Billy share, I just wanted to tell you about a trip up there. We were on our way, and somewhere along the way, I was just kind of pondering churches and church planting, and I get a text from my pastor saying he's going to Omaha. I just have an epiphany all of a sudden. I want to share it with you. It's kind of that moment when I I realized it's my pastor. There's a striking resemblance to Lauren. And I figured y'all needed to hear it. Anyway, we're gonna allow Miss Ann to start for us, and then we're gonna really come behind. Thank y'all.
Okay. When Nick announced a mission trip to Kansas, I knew in my heart that I wanted to go. And during this time, I was doing a study on the book of Jonah. So during this time I was doing this study, I realized that, of course, God wanted me to go to Kansas. He was giving me the opportunity to go, and I must be obedient. It's a privilege to be used by God. He doesn't need me to fulfill His purpose, but He chose me, and it's an honor to be chosen. And I said I wasn't going to cry. So now I know that God does want me to go, so I'm thinking, so why are we going? What am I supposed to do? So what am I supposed to do when I'm there? Because I like to plan ahead, and I like to prepare ahead. And Nick told me he didn't know exactly what we were going to do, but he said we could pray. And I said, well, I can do that. So during my study of Jonah again, I'm asking God, what am I supposed to do when I go to Kansas? Because I want to know ahead of time. And God answered that. He said, go and make disciples. And I said, well, duh, that has to be the answer. I mean, because we were given that answer in Matthew 28:19, our Great Commission. It says, go ye therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Okay, so now Nick tells us a couple of times that the people in Kansas are not like Southerners, and they're sometimes not very friendly. So now I'm having doubts again. I'm thinking, I don't take rejection very well. So I'm thinking, do I really want to do this? But again, God answers. In Deuteronomy 31:8, He says, the Lord Himself goes before us, and He will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. And don't be afraid. Don't be discouraged. And the Lord showed out again. The Kansas people could not resist our southern accents and our hugs. So we met a bunch of wonderful, very friendly people at First Baptist Church of Wilson, Kansas. Pastor Brett Denham and his wife, Wendy, worked tirelessly to share the word of Christ and share the gospel. Our group of 9 did work alongside of them, to kind of help just ease some of their burden. And I really appreciate our 4 young people that went. It was Kaylee, Faith, Amy, and Camden. They were willing to participate, and they were missionaries in their own little way. We helped each night with the teen crusade. The evangelist was Mike Westberg, and he had some awesome sermons. And during that week, 10 youth were saved. As a group, we cleaned, we moved furniture, we babysat, we did plumbing repair, and we were just available to do whatever they asked us to do. But for me, I'm still thinking, what am I supposed to do? What else can I do? I didn't feel like I was doing enough, so I'm thinking, just why am I here? You know, a few weeks ago, our Sunday school lesson dealt with Acts 11, and it was when the Christians were being persecuted. In fact, the time that Stephen was actually stoned to death by fellow Jews. So persecution can take on many forms, though. Wilson, Kansas has a population of less than 900 people, and there are 3 churches, one being the Baptist Church. Pastor Brett told us that one of those churches sent out letters to everybody in that community and told them not to let any of their youth go to the Baptist Church, because the Baptists were preaching and teaching that you had to be saved to go to heaven, and they knew that being confirmed was enough to go to heaven. But Pastor Brett, although he was discouraged, he said they cannot outdo God. One evening, Pastor Brett shared with our group about things that their church had gone through in the past. It was very difficult, things that had happened, and it was very difficult to overcome what had happened, to regain their reputation, and also to regain people's trust. He went on to say how much he appreciated our team coming to Wilson. With tears in his eyes, he said he could not believe we were willing to drive 12 hours just to help them. He said the fact that we were willing to drive 12 hours was an encouragement to him and to the rest of their church. He kept repeating, you drove 12 hours. And so I learned why God sent us 12 hours to Wilson, Kansas, is to be an encouragement and to pray for a hurting country church. So in spite of all their persecution and the things they had to go through, their church kept their focus on God. And the shirts that we have on prove it because of Psalms 19, if I can read it now, 19, 7 through 10, it says, the law of the Lord is perfect, reviving the soul. The statutes of the Lord are trustworthy, making wise the simple. The precepts of the Lord are right, giving joy to the Lord. The commands of the Lord are radiant, giving light to the eyes. The fear of the Lord is pure, enduring forever. The ordinance of the Lord is sure and altogether righteous. They are more precious than gold, and much pure gold. They're sweeter than honey from the comb. It was an awesome experience going with Nick and Billy and Jennifer and Wayne. We got to know each other. We shared a lot of laughs. We learned about some odd eating habits and how to avoid eating carbohydrates. And we found out some are good at repairing old claw bathtubs. And don't think Nick Andrews is always quiet and serious. He is full of jokes and can sing a variety of styles of Christian music. But I appreciate Nick for being obedient to God and taking our group to Wilson, Kansas. Nick is a man of prayer and he has a heart for missions.
Everybody that knows me, I'm Billy Smith. I've had the opportunity to actually do two things. I went to youth revival or youth camp with Brother David and the youth, and then I was able to go with Brother Nick to Kansas. I always get nervous when I get up here and stuff. I don't know why. I do. But anyway, I try to write down a list of things and just point out each what we've done. Our mission trip included Nick, Camden, Wayne, Jennifer, Faith, Emmy, Miss Ann, myself, and Caitlin. So far, I've traveled a good bit around the United States, and whenever it's time to come home, I was already homesick and ready to come home. Wilson, Kansas, on the other hand, had a feel of its own, as if there was no place like home, no place like home, no place like home. From that moment we arrived, I felt at peace, as if I was already home, until I found out about the basement. And that's another story for another day. Because as far as the basement goes, I don't know, I just up here about them. I don't know if we had it on the picture or not, but I took a picture of it. I really didn't want to go down until the last day, and I had to go down and wash clothes, and then I heard all kinds of different noises and stuff. It was something. And yeah, we did. We had a really good time. We enjoyed ourselves. But as we was heading down, we realized that we had enough time to catch Pastor Brett and his youth group for the first night's activities. And we went to the bowling alley, and all the kids that showed up, they bowled, and they received free prizes. They ate pizza, and right there was the first time I've ever heard the gospel preached in a bowling alley. 4 souls accepted Jesus Christ that night. But each day was packed with eating you know, at Baptist, we love to eat. Helping out where it was needed. If it was muscle, Wayne provided. If it was sun tan lotion, Nick was in charge of that. And the list goes on from the child care to the medical staff, and we thank God for Jennifer and the girls and even Ann. She had to provide a little bit of medical staff. But one thing that really stood out to me was just like Ann had said, she really didn't understand why she was called to go into the mission, that trip. And I was battling with that when I got, because I seen everybody else contributing a little bit, and it was just like I was there for muscle. And I guess God's got a funny way of showing, hey, just chill out a little bit. I got you covered. So it was the Mary Martha House of Hope that really stood out. Brother Bobby Gray, before he passed away, he always stopped me outside of the front doors up there, and he'd ask me, he'd say, Billy, when you want to get out here and start helping these widow women and doing the things that, because I need a legacy to carry on. And I said, Brother Bobby said, man, I got time. I work a lot, and I do this and I do that. And, when we got to Kansas, and Pastor Brett, he's come to me and he said, well, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm a maintenance man. And he said, well, we got some house stuff and everything we can work on. So there's something for everybody to do. But the Mary Martha House of Hope is it's a house that's going to be available for widow women that are hurting, that homeless, or just whatever they need, just to be able to feel the love of Jesus and just not be biased about anything, just to be able to just pour out their love. So she poured out her heart to us a little bit about the reason and why she done it, and she's an elder widow woman herself, and she just felt that she didn't want to just sit back and say, hey, I don't know, what would be the word, Ms. Ann, as she would say it, how she put that as far as, anyway, she said that she didn't want to just sit back on her retirement and not do nothing for a little bit. So she wanted to just go to reach, pour out, and just give the love of Jesus to people and stuff, and not just be like the majority of the retired people and just going out and traveling and that kind of stuff. That she wanted to be able to utilize the remainder of her life to just glorify God. So yeah, just be able to go and do the things. We installed an AC unit. We fixed the gates on the fence. We're doing a little bit of light plumbing, which Wayne did. We installed a dryer vent, fixed the railing on the porch, cleaned up around the yard. On the fence, we realized that Wayne was on the wrong side of the fence. So we converted him and brought him back on the other side. But the list goes on. Wherever we was needed, we tried to fill in the void. If it was from kitchen staff to prayer warrior, minister to one of the youth, if you just needed pure muscle, help to set up and break down into the games, offering free hugs, friendship, or just a spectator there at Antioch Baptist Church was. Once all the dust was settled, there was 10 that confessed Jesus Christ as their Savior. And I'd talked with Pastor Brett this evening just a little bit, and I just asked him about his heart and where everything was laying out with him, and he said that he wanted me to just pour out and just let our pastor know that thanks for allowing his group to come down and minister to Wilson, Kansas. He said that their church has revisited missions as well, and they realize that with what we've done, just opening our hearts and just loving people, that it's just not about just writing a check, and it's easy to do that. But so they plan on going to California with the youth revival next year. They plan on doing 2 medical missions, one to China and one to Ghana. I think that's right. And he said that not everyone can preach, sing, play musical instruments, but everyone can fix a fence, repair a door, and everyone can definitely pray. So I said, we got a great group here. We got Brother Reuben. He's an amazing pastor. We love him. My family does. We have an awesome youth pastor. Brother David, I love you. And Nick is totally amazing. I'm just glad to be a part of this, and I thank y'all.
I can't say enough about our church or about our pastor. Me and him go back and forth a lot, but I can't think of a better person to serve alongside and learned a lot from him. Got to go to Pilgrim's Rest this morning and preach, and it was nice to be able to poke fun at him and them know what I was talking about. So really enjoyed that, and kind of the sad part of that is, from what I understand, I heard I Miss Ross do a little hip hop. About sin messed everything up. But anyway, we just want to thank y'all for sending us, allowing us to go. I want to thank y'all for going. I couldn't ask for a better group of people. Never once had to ask them to do anything. They jump right in, and it makes it easy when you're quote unquote leading a group for the people to just go. And that's from the youngest to the oldest. The girls never once backed up from anything we asked them. Did everything that you could imagine. Billy was sharing about the Mary Martha House of Hope. It's amazing to me and somewhat discouraging that they got so excited. Pastor Brett got so excited about us fixing a shower and fixing a fence and fixing a dryer vent, scraping dirt off of a sidewalk. And the reason I say it's kind of sad is because had we not done it, he would have had to. And that leads to a bigger problem that's not just there, but that's here. And it's for some reason, women are taking the front. And there's nothing wrong with that. I want you women to step up and be involved in missions. But guys, we got to do better. And I say this kind of as a challenge. I've already had one of the youth, actually 2 come up to me and said they wanted to go next year, young men, and that's greatly encouraging. But guys, you got to step up and lead. That's biblical. And if you look at what Miss Ann read, Psalm 19, 7 through 10, the first part of that is the law of the Lord is perfect, reviving the soul. And if you skip down, it says, more to be desired are they than gold, even much fine gold. I know if I told each of you that you could go down the 4-way loop, drive 200 yards, turn and walk 50 yards, and dig, you would find $1 million in gold or even cash. Every one of you would race there and try to get it. We have something that it says is more to be desired than gold, even much fine gold in God's Word. And until we get in God's Word, we won't understand revival. We won't understand missions, and we won't understand that men are to step up and lead. So I want to challenge you, church, to understand, as Miss Ann talked about being called and knowing she was called there, it is every one of our responsibility to go to the mission field. You are all, whether you want to believe it or not, if you are a born-again Christian, you are called to the mission field. Now, the mission field looks different for each of us. It's right here. There are people in Nipito that need Jesus. We went 12 hours and ministered to people that needed Jesus. They went to the Dominican Republic and ministered to people that need Jesus. Lord willing, we're going back to Africa again in February. To people that need Jesus. what's sad to me is that of 11,000 people groups in the world today, over 9,000 of them are considered unreached. And what that means is less than 2% evangelical. We have technology to put men on the moon, Mars. We can send pictures through the air. I mean, I don't know any other way to put it. We can take a phone, take a picture, and send it to somebody in Omaha, Nebraska, and then edit it and send it back, right? The word unreached, we should hate that, right? As a people of God, it should be our desire that there is no such thing as a word unreached. And so I want to thank you as a church for allowing us to go, but I want to encourage you even more as a church to want to go. And we're going to have more opportunities. Pastor Brett's already asked that we come back next year and help them again. So I want you to pray about going. Lord willing, next summer, we're going to take a group to Africa. And I know summer's probably the best time because kids are out of school. Parents can get away and go. Give up that vacation. Everybody likes vacations. Some people take 7 vacations. Give up that vacation. You go share the gospel. I promise you won't regret it. There's never been one single time in my life where I've been obedient that I regretted it, but there has been many when I didn't do what the Lord said to do, and I regretted every second of it. So again, I want to thank you, church. Thank you, Pastor Ruben, because that's how they say it in Kansas. And one more thing. She said that they were singing in different languages, and I thought that was cool how he was encouraged by that, because the whole time we were up there, they made fun of how we talked, and we made fun of how they talked. They kept making fun of us saying y'all. I mean, that's required vocabulary for the first grade here, right? Y'all. And so we pull up this one point, and Pastor Brett, after he had made fun of me saying y'all, said, all right, y'all get out, and I'm going to take you guys' picture. And I said, you guys'? How much easier is it to just say y'all? And a lot less letters. But here's the thing, in the Dominican Republic, in Wilson, Kansas, in Malawi, Africa, in San Cristobal, Mexico, and in Nippatuck, Louisiana, there is one Lord. And we're only saved by grace through faith. And we got to carry that to the world. So thank you, church. I appreciate y'all allowing us to go and being behind us and praying while we're gone. Thank you, Brother Ruben, for allowing us to do that.
Very few people, like Brother Nick, can have me so ready to respond sarcastically to something he said, and then turn around and make me want to get up and hug his neck for being such a blessing. But so I'll have to decide after service which one I want to do. But anyway, you're so thankful as a pastor when you got people that want to go. And this is probably as country of an analogy as can be given. I remember a guy was squirrel hunting one time about a dog that went way deep in the woods before he would tree. And he said that dog would pass a dozen squirrels to go tree one. And I thought about that when Nick said that kind of about Kansas or wherever. The mission field is not just there, it's between here and there. And we've all got a place. And we've all got a heart. And we've all got a Wilson. And we've all got a Dominican Republic. And we've all got a talent. Not everybody preaches. Some people are plumbers for the glory of God, right? And some people build fences, and some people do medical work, and some people preach and sing and pray, and some people can't give. They can't give and can't go. Some people just pray. Some people give and can't go. Some people go and can't give. But either way, as you see, the function of the church is to declare the gospel. And that's been done. And that makes me very proud as a pastor of our people and of our church and these two groups that went. I got a sweet letter from Brother Brett and excited about the impact that our group, you don't ever know when you go what kind of impact you're going to make or if you're going to make any at all. You just try to go please the Lord. And to hear back from him at how excited he was and how gratitude was the word that Miss Kathy used. It was just it just blew his mind that people would come love him and help in the work there. And so thank you, Miss Kathy. I told her I had to get up and hug her neck. I said, you got me in tears, woman. I just, it's such a blessing to see how the Lord used them and also Brother Nick and the great group that went to Kansas. So thank the Lord for that. This is a direction that we're going as a church. There's going to be more opportunities every year. Brother Nick's a big part of that. We're thankful for him and any others. And we're praying the Lord give us the privilege to have a thumbprint in this world. Kind of like Miss Kathy said, that when we lay it down, we won't have nothing. And I pray we leave it all on the field, having done what God's called us to do. I even got a call this week. I hadn't talked to Brother Nick about this yet because we've been going two different directions this week. We hadn't got to talk. I got a call from a guy this week that bought 10,000 acres in Kansas. And he's a Christian from Mississippi. I didn't know there were such a thing. But he's a Christian from Mississippi. I thought that was one of those unreached groups. But he's a Christian in Mississippi. And he bought this land, and he's got a heart for the Midwest. And his heart is to get connected with some pastors and some preachers in that area. And he wants to open his property up to just have a big open field type crusade meeting. And I was one of the guys that he invited to come preach. And as we put together where it was, it's 6 miles from Wilson, Kansas. And so I told him, we got a pastor already to hook you up with and get the ball rolling. And that just shows you how the Lord connects unusual dots, you know. And so thank the Lord for that. I thank each of you for being here tonight. We're going to open the altar if we can, and we're going to give you a time of invitation. Some for those who have been saved this week to come down, and we can get your information and get that taken care of, and then we'll go back and get ready for baptism. But also want to give you an invitation tonight to just come and pray. And if something on your heart tonight that you need to do, you know, a lot of times we weigh out these decisions about what we're supposed to do and where we're supposed to go. And one thing I know is a lot of times we look for ability, and God's looking for availability. He'll provide the ability if we just give ourselves over and surrender. So I'd ask you tonight, if there's something that you've been praying about, something maybe you want to do in the upcoming days, maybe you just need courage to get signed up to go on one of these trips or be a part of, maybe go walk across the yard and talk to your neighbor. I mean, that's mission work. That's what Spurgeon said, that every Christian is a missionary or he's an imposter. And so whatever your part might be in this machine that God has called us to be, that declares the gospel over and over to as many people as we can, we want you to come tonight if you want to come pray. If you're here tonight, you need to be saved. You are the reason we share the gospel. And so you're in the right place tonight. So whatever your need might be, if you need to come to the altar and pray, you come. If you need to come and do anything else, we want to invite you to do that at this time. So Brother Ross, if y'all don't mind coming, I want to say a word of prayer. Just thank the Lord for what He's done, and then we're going to do that. Father, we love you. God, thank you so much for the privilege tonight to be able to hear what you're doing. God, I'll be honest, I'm often overwhelmed at what you do here. And God, just to see you take just a little fragment of what you've done here through a handful of our people, and to go out into the world and share your gospel, and to magnify your name, and to let us just have a piece of that, just to let us be a part, just an instrument of what we were saved to be. God, I just praise your name for that tonight. Lord, we're going to give this invitation, and Lord, I give it humbly and genuinely from our heart tonight, knowing that this is you with that call, just as we spoke about this morning, as you called Lazarus to come forth. Lord, I know there are many tonight probably who in their time, in their life, at some point, whether it been to a closer walk with you or even the moment that they were saved, that they heard that call, that you called them to come forward. I pray tonight if there's one here that's heard that call that's yet to respond, that they would do that at this time. And we'll be careful to thank you and to praise you for all that you do. And it is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Y'all stand with us. Oh, look, good. I'm dry this time. Cameron got saved with our group at church camp this year, Centerview. Cameron came a couple Sundays ago, made that covenant, and so he's come tonight to be baptized. Cameron Rhodes, because of your profession of faith in our Lord Jesus Christ, trusting Him to come in your heart and save your soul. I baptize you now, my brother, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. At least it's July, right? Anyway, we're proud of this week. Henceforth, because of your profession of faith in our Lord Jesus Christ, trust Him to come in your heart and save your soul, I baptize you now, my brother, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Amen.
All right, y'all stand with us. We're going to go to the Lord in prayer. Begin this. Thank you for being a part of this service. And glad you come to church tonight. Say amen. Amen. Get much better than that. Mission reports and baptisms. Lord, but anyway, good to see you today. Well, Lord bless you. Anything before we dismiss? Remember the ladies meeting Tuesday night here at the church? Looking forward to that. Praying all that goes good. Nothing else. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. We'll be dismissed. Brother David, if you don't mind, dismiss us, please, sir.